So with triangle problems, we want to know if we have a complete pair. If we do, we can use the law of sines, which is easier than the alternative. Okay, we have an angle, we don't have its corresponding side. We've got a side, but we don't have the angle that corresponds with it. We actually don't have a complete pair, and we don't have any good way of getting a complete pair. So what we've got to use is the law of cosines. And what it says is that you square a side length. You can call it C, you can call it Z. There's just some side length that you're focused on. And that equals the other two side lengths added together after being squared, a squared plus b squared, minus 2 times that side length a times b times cosine angle C. So that's why choosing what C is really important, okay? Because if you need to find side length C, then the angle for C needs to go in this place here. Okay, so let's check out the problem. They're just basically summarizing what these numbers come from. What is the distance from Christina's house to the school, represented by the line from X to Z? We're asked to find this. Wow, it's a bad drawing, but we need to find this. So that's a side length. That's what we're trying to find. So that's what our lowercase c is going to be. Now it doesn't matter which one you call A or B, because we're adding. And then we put 129 in here, because that's the angle that corresponds to that side length. Okay? And then this one actually is nice to simplify in a calculator. If you have a scientific calculator, you can punch it in all at once, as long as you obviously get it punched in the correct order. So 3 million here. Oh, come on. And then 1,821 squared. So another a little over 3 million there. And now here, I'm actually going to start with cosine 129 with the way my calculator works. I'm going to punch 129, trig, cosine, not second cosine, right? And then we multiply that to 1821, then times 1750, and then it's kind of hidden over here, but then times that too. So that's negative 4 million. So look, I got to put another minus here. That means it's going to change to plus, right? Because there's a minus built into the law of cosines formula, and we got a negative number out of our cosine 129. So this is going to be all this stuff added together. Sometimes you're going to subtract if cosine's if it's an acute angle. Sometimes you add if it's an obtuse angle. Okay, so that's what the right side equals. And then we need to use a square root to cancel out that squared. And we'll only take the positive option. Okay, you get the idea there. So use the square root, 3,223.2769. By how many degrees did it adjust its route at point Y? So basically they want us to know actually, if we find this angle, we can quickly find this angle because the two should make 180 degrees. They should make a straight line. So we got to solve for an angle. We don't have a complete pair, so it means we got to use the law of cosines, which says c squared, which is a side length, equals another side length plus the third side length minus 2ab cosine c. And all those letters, capital C for the angle, all those letters are interchangeable. We're going to plug in 599 in for little c squared because that's the side that corresponds with the angle. If we didn't do that, we wouldn't have a place to plug in angle x. Now angle x is going to go inside cosine c because it's the corresponding angle to lowercase c. Doesn't matter where the other ones go. And then this is cosine x. ran out of room there, so I had to kind of make it go diagonal, but that's going to be our cosine x. So, oops, I forgot my squared, 599 squared. So let's do that first. 358,801. We got 400 squared. I'm going to add that to 320 squared. 262,400. And it's tempting to just try to subtract it by 2 times 400, but you've got to figure out what the cosine of the angle is first, because multiplication comes before subtraction, the order of operations. So minus 256,000. Okay, so we can't subtract these two numbers because this one we have to multiply first. What we can do is we can subtract 262,400 from both sides. So if we do that, we've got 358,801 subtracted by 262,400. It's 96,401 equals negative 256,000. And then we can divide both sides by negative 256,000. So cosine of x equals 96401 divided by 256,000, and I'm just going to remember it's negative 0.3766. 0.3766. And so to get x by itself, now we just need to use inverse cosine, or arc cosine, as you might see on some calculators. So I got to make sure my negative sign's there, and then trig second cosine. So it's 112 degrees for their answer, around 112 degrees. Sorry, so that's x. X is 112 degrees. I forgot though. They're looking for this angle over here. So that's 180 degrees minus 112. So that's 68 degrees.